morning, everyone. Blessed morning. We're just going to stay in that meditative, contemplative, reflective space, letting the music guide you within, letting your mind focus only on things that are healing, nourishing, inspiring. Let all heaviness be released. Because the music is a vibration of healing and positivity. And I'm grateful to be sharing with you today in this space. So this is a continued meditation, reflection, as we get prepared for our powerful, amazing service that we'll be having. Blessed Sunday. Blessed morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone feeling? Bringing the energy into the space and welcoming you to another Sunday here at Oakland Center for the Spiritual Living, the spiritual. And as we do in the morning when we would walk into our beautiful and amazing spiritual space that we miss so much, we would wave at each other, we would smile, we would hug each other. So if you feel comfortable to turn on your cameras and just give someone a wave right now or a smile. I like to go in the gallery view. Just wave at someone and smile at someone. Send that loving energy that we can send through Zoom, the best that we can. And I'm going to share a song, and I know I'm going to just be honest. It's been a heavy week here. It's been a heavy week. So many things happening in our world that make this space so much more needed and so much more necessary just being with you this morning. So I thank you. I'm calling into the space the names of all of those losing their lives. The state-sponsored violence. I say for my young brother Dante Wright. I say for my young brother Adam Toledo. I say for the victims in Indianapolis. So many heavy things happening in our world this week. We must continue to be warriors for spirit and warriors for justice. I know one day we gonna make it. I know one day we gonna have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been fighting for. They can't take this love from us. They can't take real love from us. It's deeper than they know. Yes, it's deeper than they know. Hey, and my soul has no limitations. My life is priceless. And my faith is endless. And I believe in truth.
I believe in truth.
As long as justice escapes us, we live for the struggle. And we keep holding on. And we keep pushing on. And let me tell you, y'all, I know one day we gonna make it. I know one day we gonna have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been fighting for. Yes, thank you, Jing. They can't take this love from us. They can't take real love from us. It's deeper than they know. Yes, it's deeper than they know. They got me falling now.
Falling off of the thrill. Tell me, can you feel the love? Willingly we risk it all. Tell me, can you feel the love?
Yeah, I can feel it, y'all. I know one day we gonna make it. I know one day we gonna have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been living for. They can't take real love from us.
No, they can't.
They can't take real love from us. It's deeper than they know. Yes, it's deeper than they know. I sacrificed for this purpose where no one understood. We was born for this purpose. You gave my life meaning even when I had nothing. You made me feel worthy, yeah. You stood right beside me like strength and righteousness, the consciousness that guides me. We keep holding on. Gotta keep holding on. We keep pushing on. And you forgave all my faults, all possibilities, and all of my failures. Ever so patient, knew my potential was worth every moment. Yeah, you believed in me when they doubted, gave me relentless strength to exceed all the expectations. Yo, we keep holding on. We keep pushing on. That verse made me remind me of the Reverend Jeff, how he believed in all of us. His spirit is still touching me this morning. I remember I used to sing this song. He'd be right there in the front singing along. We still feel your presence, Jeff. You're still with us. We thank you. We thank you for your guidance and your strength. We keep feeling that love that you left. I know one day we gonna make it. I know one day we gonna have just what we're fighting for. Just what we've been fighting for. They can't take this love from us. They can't take this love from us. It's deeper than they know. Yes, it's deeper than they know. They got me falling now.
Falling, falling for the thrill. Tell me, can you feel the love? Willingly, we risk it all. Tell me, can you feel the love? Falling, falling for the thrill. Tell me, can you feel the love?
Everything going on.
Willingly, we risk it all. Tell me, can you feel?
We have to remember to stay in the space of love, gratitude, showing up for one another, speaking out for what we believe in. Because one day we going to make it. Thank you, Jen Johns. Appreciate you. Much love.
Thank you, Kev. Love you too.
Give thanks. And now I turn it over to Cheryl Archer. Thank you.
Let me start over. Can you see me? Okay, good. Good morning, and thanks to our fabulous musicians today, Kev Choice and Jennifer Johns. And welcome to the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, where we teach spiritual practices and principles that nourish us, uplift us, and celebrate our oneness with all of life. And welcome to those of you joining us via Zoom today for the very first time, and a special welcome on this Sunday morning. If you'd like to connect with us, please send an email to Constance Chapman, our administrative coordinator, at constance@oaklandcsl.org. In order to maintain a sacred atmosphere this morning, I invite you to please take a moment to make sure that your Zoom microphone and video are muted and turned off. Let's now take a moment to bless our children wherever they are. We honor all youth and children in our community and in the world. We love you. We see you. You are Spirit's gift to us. Thank you for being in our lives, and so it is. I have just a few announcements this morning. This Wednesday, practitioner Elena Hutchinson will be speaking on blessitation. Meditation is at 6:30 and the service is at 7. The memorial wall for Reverend Jeff is still there, and there's still room for your words, your drawings, your love. While you're there, check out the beautiful altar in the social hall that you can view through the window. And if you're wanting to be in a more intimate setting with other villagers, join one of the small groups at the center. The Noontime Spiritual Journey Group continues to meet Monday through Friday for half an hour of fellowship and spiritual enrichment. Practitioner Susan Brecker is leading an in-person small group every Tuesday from 3 to 4 p.m. And practitioner Zoe DeMoro is leading an online small group on Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. Both groups explore the readings for the week and enjoy the connections the gatherings afford. Information for all of these groups are on the events page of the website. Make sure to sign up for Recline and Release Soundscapes for deep relaxation this evening, April 18th at 8 p.m. Please make sure you sign up by 2 p.m. today. This hour-long event will honor Reverend Jeff and the village as we make our way forward into our greatest yet to be. All the details about what is involved are on the events page of the website. All love donations will be going to the Center for Spiritual Living Teen Camp Capital Fund in Reverend Jeff's name. Diversity Circle on Friday, April 23rd, is exploring the uprise in Asian American racism. This monthly event starts at 7 p.m. Details and the link to make a love offering is on the events page of the website. The Courtyard book sale is back. Saturday, April 24th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Shop and socialize in the Courtyard. April 22nd is Earth Day. From the title of his book, The Nature of Things to his love of fly fishing, Reverend Jeff loved nature and all that it teaches us. In the Village News sent out last Thursday, there's a list of things that you can do personally for our earthly home. Finally, quarterly giving letters and statements will be mailed to you today or tomorrow. And one last note, Women's Spiritual Transformation Group is meeting today at 3 p.m. And as always, to know everything that's going on at the Oakland Center, visit the website, www.oaklandcsl.org. Check the Village News for links to these and other activities. We have many more groups and special ministries and events happening here at the Center for Spiritual Living. For more information, as I said, check the website, www.oaklandcsl.org. This is information central during this time of cyber connection. Please read along with me as I read our mission and vision statement. The vision of the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living is to joyfully reveal the love and oneness of God. We are a welcoming and inclusive community dedicated to individual transformation and collective growth. Our purpose is to love, inspire, and serve our community and the world through education, music, prayer, and play. And so it is. I'm now going to pass the baton to practitioner Robin Rice Olmsted.
Thank you, Cheryl. Good morning, Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. What a beautiful morning it is. I'm so honored to be here with you and just feel this great energy from all that's gone on, the meditation and Kev and Jen and the powerful music and words. Something's going on. Can you feel it? All right, there's more. So let's get started with a couple of readings. The first reading is from Ernest Holmes. The life which we live is the universal life expressing through us. Else how could we live? And the second reading is from Joel Goldsmith. Keep the word of God alive in your mind, in your thought, and in your experience, and you will never know lack or limitation. So how true that is. And if you'll just take a breath with me and just center in that, in those readings, in those words. And so I just take this moment. I take this moment to truly be grateful, to truly stand in gratitude for the one presence, the one power that is love, that is peace, that is justice, that is freedom, that is spirit, that is God. Knowing that this is my life, that this is your life, that this is the life that we are all inseparable from, that we stand in this oneness, in this knowingness, in this peace, in this freedom, in this place of knowing the unknown. We just breathe into the unknown. Just empty your bodies right here, right now, empty your minds, and just prepare yourself for the beautiful words of Reverend Sydney. Knowing that as she speaks today, that God speaks through her. Knowing that this is exactly what you have called forth. Knowing that this is the message that we need to hear in order to anchor that love and that peace and that knowingness on this, in this planet. And knowing that as we do this, that each and every individual is touched. That each and every life that is on this side of the plane or on the other is feeling that. That we are holding that space, knowing the truth, that as the injustices occur, that we are holding that space for peace and understanding. So I know we go forward today, just open and receptive to the word of Reverend Sydney. And as she speaks, I just know that lives are changed, hearts are open, and that we just open up that heart space to carry it with us throughout our week and beyond. And for this and so much more, I am just grateful and thankful. And I truly just released this word knowing that it was done way before it was ever spoken, and that it's time for realization is right here and right now. And so in agreement we say, and so it is. Amen. And I now pass to the beautiful Jennifer Johns. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. It is always a blessing to be with you all. I want to make sure that you can hear me on my microphone. I need it today. Thank you. Yeah. This song was produced by Kev Choice. One of my favorite songs. Let me tell you right now, we need some grace. Yeah, the night will forever be. Yeah, we choose grace. Even in this time, yeah. In this time of wild, uncertain, reckless rage, indignant anger, we stay focused on love. For no weapon formed against you can prosper when you're bright with the essence of the divine, with love as my light to guide my way. Fire in the heart, we glow effortlessly. With my light, we choose grace. Midnight will forever be bright again. We choose grace. Midnight will forever be bright again. We choose grace. We choose grace. Blessed are those amongst us who see the glory in the bleak, know how to dream a new world order that's meant for all of we. To dance simple elegance, life, love, and liberty. This pursuit of happiness for all humanity, we choose grace. We choose grace. Midnight will forever be bright again. We choose grace. Midnight will forever be bright again. We choose grace. We choose grace. Midnight will forever be. Oh, yes. We choose to be graceful and grateful. I hope wherever you are dancing. Release those dopamines and all the good chemicals in your brain that come with laughing and dancing and moving. And then I hope you are ready to sing hallelujah, because we got to let the universe know that we are ready for this change, gracefully, joyfully. Yeah? Hallelujah, yes. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Come on, hallelujah. You better believe it. Oh, hallelujah. Oh, yes. Yes. For no weapon formed against you can prosper. Not even death, for this life is eternal. So use me, Lord. Oh, I relax in the grace. I live in the grace. I move in the grace. Thank you, Lord. Yes. Yes. Amen and ashe, and so it is to this better life and all life, all love. Yeah. I pray you guys are lifted up and ready for Reverend Sydney to bring us love and light and more grace. Ashe.
Thank you so much, Jennifer Johns. Reverend Sally Bartholomew here, and if you can spotlight me, I would be grateful to introduce our guest speaker today. And before I bring on Reverend Sydney, what I'd like to let you know is that our Reverend Tony Bradford has decided to take a personal leave of absence. And so we are knowing his highest and greatest good is revealing itself in, through, and as him right here and right now. So as we know this for Reverend Tony, we welcome in this weekend Reverend Sydney Steen. And let me tell you a little bit about my beloved sister spirit here. Reverend Sydney Lehman Steen is both ordained in religious science and in interfaith traditions. Raised in New Thought, Sydney is currently active in CSL as a minister and contributing content creator for our 2021 and 2022 global CSL themes. She is also in demand as a professional jazz pianist. Now, I don't think she's sitting at her piano today, but maybe we'll bring her back to do a little music for us. And during her COVID time of quarantine, she's been dedicated to writing talks, vacuuming up pet hair and other sheddy stuff from her dog and cat. And she's also been baking bread, lots and lots of bread. So please open your hearts, your minds, and welcome Reverend Sydney. We're so glad that you are here today. Welcome.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I am so glad to be here. First of all, I'm going to ask something of you all. Would you mind turning on your cameras so that I can see your faces? You have no idea how much more fun it is to see your reactions and to see you looking at each other's reactions. And just leave your cameras on, keep the mics off. But if you're comfortable showing yourself, it really is so much better than just seeing a still of the Brady Bunch or Hollywood Squares. I mean, I'd really rather see you all. So thank you so much. I've been working with a couple of different ideas this week with this whole idea of blessitation. So I have two quotes that I want to offer you. One of them was from Eric Butterworth. Back of all circumstances is a divine constant, that which is eternal, true, and unchanging, that which is God. And actually, I lied. That was Raymond Charles Barker, not Eric Butterworth, although I love Eric Butterworth. But Raymond Charles Barker wrote, back of all circumstances is a divine constant, that which is eternal, true, and unchanging, that which is God. Now, let me give you the other quote that I've been working with, and it's from Course in Miracles. There is no order of difficulty in the universe. There is no order of difficulty in the universe. Now, Kev, gosh, you are amazing. Jennifer, you too. As you were both singing and touching hearts with your music about we will fight and hold this knowing, this power and presence, I thought, we need to remind ourselves of that. We need to remember that even with all of the stuff that appears to be falling apart, that appears to be so beyond our comprehension or our handling or our healing of it, we have to remember that there is back of all of it a divine constant. And it is eternal, it is true, it is unchanging, it is God. And there is no order of difficulty. There is no order. There is no big or small in God. It does not happen. There's no big or small in God. So when the world appears to have lost its footing, it's really easy to think that all of these events are adding up to some sort of colossal ending or apocalypse. And you know what? They are. They are. And here's what is ending. Here's what must end. We must end our fear of each other, our fear of the other, and begin reaching out more than ever before so that no one, and I mean no one, believes they are alone or unimportant. We must end the ways that we feed our beliefs in the pernicious idea of that other. We're family, period. Family holds one another close and nurtures hearts, minds, souls, and bodies. There is no other. We are all we've got. We're one. We must each now end our own, this is the big one, self-loathing and devaluation. When you and I can truly really realize that everyone, including ourselves, is a vital creation of the divine itself, then we will be able to hold each other up in glorious appreciation of our shared fragile humanity, as well as our individual radiant uniqueness. One of the persons I read a lot is Johnny Coleman. And some of you might know who Johnny Coleman was. Founded the Johnny Coleman Institute, which is in Chicago, which is a new thought powerhouse of teaching, of speakers, of research, of resources. And she would refer to us, to you and me, to all of us, as humanely divine and divinely human. Humanely divine and divinely human. And this is important because you and I are spiritual beings living in a spiritual world governed by spiritual laws. Now, I take offense when I hear someone say, I am a spiritual being living in a human world, because or having a human experience, because this is what I want you to know. We are spiritual beings. We are in a spiritual world. We are governed by spiritual laws. You know, there's this old idea that some of you who grew up in Unity might remember. I am the thinker that thinks the thought that creates the thing. It's all spiritual law, okay? So our souls are desperate for us to stop talking about powerful love and to start being that powerful love. Imagine how our daily lives would be if we were so busy seeking out ways to be loving and kind that we had no time to think about limitation or failure. And how much sweeter would every day be if instead of thinking divide and conquer, we practiced unite and serve. And just so you know, the word apocalypse comes from the ancient Greeks, and its original meaning is to uncover. To uncover. What if all that's going on in the world around us is the collective soul's call to uncover our true spiritual natures? What if today were the day that you and I chose to let go of all of our old opinions, our judgments, and our thought patterns, whether they are limiting of ourselves or anybody else, or judging our leaders, our friends, our anybody? What if we chose today to let go of all of that so that we could uncover, really uncover, and celebrate our oneness with and as God? So in his wonderful book, The Power of Decision, Raymond Charles Barker wrote, will my decisions today be based on today's experiences, guided by the wisdom of the past, or will they be determined only by past memory patterns? You have to be a today person in a today experience to have the fullness of life in the here and now. Okay, in other words, how many of us are walking around singing the same song based on the same ideas? And it goes like this: second verse, same as the first, a little bit louder and a little bit worse, right? So every day we're faced with choices and decisions. And no matter what the area of life is where we have to make decisions, I know that I generally ask a lot of questions. And I'm assuming that a lot of us do. We want to uncover what we need to know and what we should do next, right? And the questions we often ask ourselves are questions like, what do I do now? Where do I go? What do I want? And often we'll even get a little deeper and say, what does God want me to do? What does Spirit want me to do? But I got to tell you, I don't think that those are the questions we need to be asking in terms of great transformation or apocalyptic uncovering. I believe that at every point in our lives, we can ask a bigger question that will answer all of the other smaller questions. And that question is, who am I to be in this? Who am I to be in this? So I have a rule for myself, which is that if I'm going to look at CNN or any news headlines anywhere, I will do it with an intentional filter of, is this a prayer request? Is this a prayer request? You know, I started doing it a long time ago because it seemed like a much better option than having my head explode on a daily basis over what I was hearing and reading. So a few years ago, June 2016, I was driving from my home, which is southwest of Portland, Oregon, to Unity of Portland, where I was going to be giving this Sunday morning talk and conduct the service. So then I was the associate minister and music director. And one of the things that I had chosen as my responsibility was that when she was speaking, I would make sure that I would just quickly check any morning news feeds before doing the Sunday services. I knew she didn't have time. 2 kids, lots of stuff to do. And so I would scan the headlines just in case there might be a need for some deeper prayer support or some wisdom that was being called for, right? A CNN prayer request, perhaps. So, but that day I was the minister on duty. I woke up early, I got my giant cup of coffee, and I did about an hour of spiritual practice and meditating. I got dressed, I did my hair and makeup because I really, really do ascribe to the idea that vanity, thy name is woman. I'm a girl. Then I got in my car and I set out on my commute. I didn't scan headlines. I went to consciousness. And there was sort of this thought in my mind of, if I need to know something, I'll know it. So when I know, by the way, that I'm going to be speaking, I only listen to inspirational talks from powerful and strong new thought leaders, or alternatively, music from the Doobie Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, Count Basie, or Lady Gaga, sometimes Mozart, but because I'm pretty eclectic. And one of the things I listened to that morning was a talk from a former teacher of mine. And he quoted a line from the Talmud. When you exist in the time of deepest darkness, act as though the light has already come. When you exist in the time of deepest darkness, act as though the light has already come. And for whatever reason, this logged into my brain and I remembered it. Got to church, everyone was bustling around doing their thing. We started their service with our opening prayer, some words of welcome, some announcements, a song or two. And then we did as we always did, or as we always used to do, as we were always allowed to do, our meet and greet. Remember that? Remember those days? Remember when we got to hug each other? We'll do it again. I promise we're going to do it again. But I'm telling you all of this because it wasn't until that meet and greet that someone made over to me and asked, are you even going to say anything about Orlando? And I said, Orlando? Because I'm thinking, I haven't been to Disney in years and I'm not planning going soon. And she said, yes, didn't you hear? Early this morning, there was a mass shooting at a popular gay nightclub. And at last count, over 50 gay men had been killed. You see, I hadn't looked for that CNN prayer request that morning. So I breathed. I turned back to the podium and I breathed again. When everyone had settled back in the seats, I was no longer there to talk about the gifts of tithing or whatever it was I was going to talk about and thinking such things as, gee, I'll put this quote here and this little joke there. Instead, my talk very quickly became about the ways in which when we exist in the time of deepest darkness, how do we act as though the light has already come? How do we be that light? Who are we going to be in that? Who are we in that? So growing up in New Thought, I have seen the focus of our teaching, thank God, it has evolved past the me consciousness. Oh God, please can I demonstrate a BMW into the we consciousness. And that's very important. It's really, really vital. So let's dive right into the abyss. Last month, Boulder, Colorado, Essex, Maryland, the city of Orange in Southern California, which is close to where I grew up. And this month, Allen, Texas, Rock Hill, South Carolina, Indianapolis. And I know there are more. Now that is a hell of a list of CNN prayer requests, don't you think? That's a lot of prayer requests. Now we can dive into that and we can be the pain, we can be the fear, we can be the angst in all of it. But the first thing I want to ask you is, who are you to be in this? Who am I to be in this? What is the choice? Now, I want you to know that my purpose here isn't to make everyone feel bad. In fact, I want all of us to unerringly stand in and on spiritual principle. And I mean 24/7, 365. We do not get to a place of deep knowing and strong consciousness by avoiding the opportunities to grow. We don't get there by avoiding those opportunities that are going to be presented every day to remember who and whose we are. And by the way, who and whose they are, those others that we are angry at, afraid of, resentful about, or blaming in any way or keeping out of our hearts. Everybody breathe. They are the key to our own greater experience and expression of love. We grow when we are motivated to grow. I wish that spiritual law were just a whole thing of pink fairy dust and flying unicorns. Man, wouldn't that be so much easier? Wouldn't that be so much more fun? It's not. We are here to love each other, to grow ourselves. So as Ernest Holmes wrote, love points the way and the law makes the way possible. This love is that poignancy, the preciousness, and yes, the pain that we feel when we read about these events. That's the love. And the law makes the way possible for us to show up as God. Love points the way where more love is needed. Love points the way where we are to become greater and bolder in our expression of God as love than we ever have before. So one of the writers I like to spend time with, and I've been doing it a lot lately, is Howard Thurman. And many of you probably know about Howard Thurman. He was a brilliant teacher and writer. He founded several different theology departments at different universities across the country. And he is known as one of the most influential religious leaders of the 20th century. He was spiritual mentor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and to other leaders of the civil rights movement. He also, by the way, co-founded, I'm sure a lot of you knew this, co-founded the Church for the Fellowship of All Peoples in 1944, right down the road from where you are in San Francisco, the nation's first interracial interfaith congregation. So in his book, The Inward Journey, Dr. Thurman, a Black man, wrote this: the stirring of energy in myriad forms of unstructured malevolences may well be the spirit of life, of God at work in behalf of new life and perhaps a new creation on this planet. We must find our place in the areas of the new vitalities, the place where the old is breaking up and the new is being born. What a moment to be alive, and more importantly, to be aware. To be aware. What a moment to be alive. He went on to quote a contemporary French philosopher, Fenelon, accustom yourself to remain at peace in the depth in your heart, in spite of your restless imagination. That's basically the same as the quote that was read earlier by Joel Goldsmith. That stay in that word, stay in that presence, stay in that active, intentional knowing that God is. God is fully everywhere equally present. That's what we are to do. But we start with this place within. We have to go there. The visceral and very human, physical human, emotional human, the physical emotional body of a human reacts in horror and rage when we read of or hear about events in the world that frankly are just so much less than the divine idea and the divine ideal. What the heck is that about, right? But Howard Thurman also wrote these words, and for me, they are a sublime answer to the question who we are to be, or who are we to be. And he wrote this: don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. People who have come alive. So there is a choice we can make. We can choose to allow for our reactions, our feelings, our pain, and all that stuff we experience and process. We have to process that on the spectrum. Those are all things on the spectrum of human emotion, and we have to process them, because this is absolutely not an invitation to deny the pain, to deny what's going on, or into any way to dismiss the suffering of others, because we have to stand forth as spiritual beings, and as Gandhi said, be that change. Be that change that you want to see in the world. But after that, once we acknowledge and we assimilate, and we really, really cherish and honor what our experience and our emotions and process are, then we can and we must choose to engage in the mature and inspired level of spiritual response. And that's where we ask that question: who am I to be in this? There's only one answer to that question: God. There's only one answer. Who are you to be? God. And you already are. Who am I to be? God, and I already am. We are here. We are called to be God in these places and spaces of what Dr. Thurman called unstructured malevolences. And by the way, so here's another thing I just want to throw at you. We are God. We are God in form. We are God expressing. God needs us to show up in order to be expressed, to be demonstrated. When we say, and this is in John in the Bible, created in the image and likeness of God, I've been looking at that too. The word image as a word, as a concept, actually didn't exist when John was on the planet, when Jesus was on the planet. The etymology happened much later. The original Aramaic word was more in alignment with what people would create as statues or icons, believing that they had sacred power, that they had God power. So created in the image and likeness means we have God power. We have spiritual power. Rocco Errico, his beloved, beautiful, simple answer to that, what does it mean to be created in the image and likeness of God? You and I are each a chip off the old block. We're just a chip off the old block, which means everything that's true about God is true about me. It's true about you. We are a chip off the old block. Now think about that. Simplify it. We are here as God. So let me give you an example of this. When my son was about 12, 13, he played baseball. They used to call it Little League. I don't remember now what they call it, but you all know what I'm talking about. And at each game or the practice, parents are responsible for bringing the snacks. You bring the juice, the water, the donuts, the pretzels, whatever it was. And it was really important to bring whatever we were assigned to bring. You and I have been divinely assigned to bring the God. We are here to bring the God. That's the assignment. And once you wake up and you know this, you can't go back to sleep. Not in this realm. Once you know, and this is where we get into our spiritual practice, once you know you are an intentional and dynamic creation of God, you cannot pretend to be less than that. At least not very successfully. Who am I to be in this? Who are we to be in this? Again, Course in Miracles talks about, and it's a lesson that is stated over and over again, that if we are in any situation or relationship and we believe that love is missing, it's because we have withheld it. If love is missing, we have denied giving it. We have denied being love. We have denied our own true nature, which is God. Now, it's not to say in a way that is shaming or judgmental, but it is that we are to interrogate, am I being love here? Am I being God here? Am I being the love? Being that presence of love means being intentional. And it means, maybe this is a way to look at it, activating the power of blessing. When we bless something or someone, whether it's someone we like or don't like, agree with, don't agree with, maybe it's you love or you don't love the president or a leader or whatever that thing is. But when we bless, it is that namaste idea of the light in me, recognizing the light in you. When we bless, we are coming from that divine, deep, powerful, true center of who we are and calling forth their spiritual being. We are calling it forth because, as you know, when we recognize something, we activate it because we are giving attention to it. We are giving energy to it. That is why we bless. And that's where I like to go with this idea of blessitation. I think the original idea was being inspired and blessed and guided and then stopping, hesitating because we have doubt or fear or old beliefs. So I want to take it further than that. I think it's fine to be hesitation, to have hesitation. That's where we begin to really double down in our spiritual practice, to really, really intend God, to really know God. That's where we get to go deeper. That's not the place to stop and to condemn ourselves because we might have doubts or we don't have the faith we think we need. Faith happens by doing. Faith happens by being active in that presence and active in that consciousness. Faith does not happen with wishful thinking or hoping that it's going to get better. Faith happens when we step into the activity that we have been divinely guided to be, which is love. And that's where we begin to grow faith. You have all the faith you will ever need. You have all the faith you will ever get. But until we activate it, until we choose to live from that, we don't actually know how empowered we are. So I believe that the hesitation we experience in our life is a blessing. It offers an opportunity to remember that fundamental truth that God is all in our life. Even if we don't like it or understand it, it's all pointing us to the fundamental principles of new thought, that there isn't God's life and my life, this life and that life. It's all one life. So let us move forward in that conviction and that intention. God is the most true thing about you and about me. Indeed, I want to be really extremely clear here. Not only is God the most true thing about you and me, but God is the only true thing about you and me. Everything else is an opinion. And you may have noticed that opinion has very little to do with truth, particularly high spiritual truth, and that's that truth with a capital T. Our world would seem to be really engaged and dedicated to opinion, reaction to reaction, reaction to opinion, argument about reaction, and opinions about the arguments. But when we react to the arguments, all we're doing is stirring that pot. And then we start all over again. And it just becomes this big mess of something that I don't want to be in that cauldron of creation. I want to be in the cauldron of creation that is about knowing God everywhere equally present. I'm tired of that thinking. Aren't you? What if we could start now to stop defining ourselves according to all of this opinion and reaction and judgment and I agree with you, I disagree with them, other binary thinking, and start living from the awareness of that which we are in truth, God. We are that. We are that. This is why we focus so strongly on spiritual practice in CSL. It's why you all have some amazing classes that you can be with. You know, I teach this in my classes all the time, that we can be defined by the world of effect, conditions, and opinions, or we can be divined by God. Science of mind is relevant and powerful because it's not observable spirituality, it's applicable, practicable spirituality. We don't just talk about this so we can feel good for a little bit and then leave and stand back and helplessly and painfully watch our lives fall to pieces. We teach these ideas so that all life can be lifted up. When John the Baptist said, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind," actually it wasn't John the Baptist, it was John in the Bible, the first 4 chapters of the New Testament. "Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind." He clearly and purposely said transformed. He didn't said, "Be ye slightly adjusted, be ye a little shifted, or just be a little different." He said, "Be transformed." And this is why we do our spiritual practice. Not because it makes me look good, or Reverend Sally look good, or even your amazing, fabulous practitioners look good, but because you are worthy of this radiant, robust, joy-filled, love-based wholeness. You are worthy of this abundant possibility and fun. When we transform our consciousness to know and to know that we know our own divinity as creations of God, we change the world around us. And that's ultimately taking us back to the very beginning of this talk. We want to know, how do we heal the world? How do we change this? We show up as God. And that means those gifts that you have been given, that dream that was planted in your soul, as Howard Thurman said, be awake, be alive. That's what the world needs. And we know that when we are anchored in that source, anchored in that presence, then yes, absolutely, we go forth and we are vibrating at such a high spiritual reality that other people get to be transformed and lifted up as well. Does it mean that we don't show up in compassion, in support, in charity? Absolutely not. It means that we bring the God to those experiences. I volunteer at a homeless shelter once a week, and I wash linens, and I sanitize kitchens and stairwells and all of that. And I bring the God. I bring the God. I am active in areas, everything from LGBTQIA plus to Black Lives Matter. I don't do it with a sense of anger. I do it with God. I bring the God. So I want to invite you to consider truly doubling down on your spiritual practice so that you can bring the God. And if you are bringing the God, let's bring more God. Let's bring more God. We can transform the world by this renewing of our minds, our thoughts, our souls, our ideas, our energy, and we can lift up into that place of absolute knowing 24/7, 365. So before I close, I have a little short affirmation I want to teach you to use. Here's your tool to take with you. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Say this with me. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. So whether you are at the grocery store or you're at home with family members or you're discussing politics or you are looking for, prayer requests on CNN, keep this affirmation alive and active in you. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Everywhere I look, I see the face of God. Don't hesitate to renew your mind and to transform this planet. We're counting on you. I'm counting on you. We pressed into this time because we are intentional beings. We are the ones that we've been looking for. And we were made for this time. We were made for these times. The world is counting on us to suit up, show up, and to bring the God. Let's pray. So I invite everyone to just take a breath and anchor into a deep, deep, loving, perfect knowing that there is only one power and one presence, infinite, loving, intelligent, that which is source and substance of all life, creator and created, and has chosen to individualize and express itself in, as, and through each of us. So as I know that we are all surrounded and filled with this truth, with this presence, with this power, I speak my word now, and I know, and I declare that we are each here as God, and that we know that we are here as God. And in that knowing, we are perfectly guided to expand in our love, to expand in our celebration, to expand in our creativity, to expand in our activism, to expand in our love, and to expand in our forgiveness, our compassion, our generosity, and our growth. Because as beings of the divine, we know that we are limitless. We are absolutely limitless. We are God's demonstration. We are created from that perfect consciousness of infinity itself. So I know that as we move out into the world, we are a blessing. We are a blessing because I know that we have shifted into a deeper awareness of everywhere we go, we see the face of God, starting with ourselves. So I bless all paths to God, all churches, all cathedrals, all ashrams, all temples, all synagogues, all paths to God. I know that we are each united in the intention to be love, and in that, we are all lifted up and made whole. So with a full and grateful heart, I release this word into law, knowing that all we've done really is recognize that which is already going on, and now we know we're going to go swimming in that too. And in this same consciousness, I share this word and I pass it to the beautiful and awesome goddess, Reverend Sally.
And continuing in this consciousness of oneness, of the truth that God is living itself in, through, and as each of us. I continue to speak the word for our community, speaking a word this morning for Rainforest Action Network, our nonprofit for this month, a global network supporting and working closely with frontline communities, providing cutting-edge research, analysis, and taking action against companies and industries driving deforestation and climate change. I speak a word this morning for our planet, Mother Earth. Deep gratitude for her beauty and resilience, and our increasingly mindful stewardship of her. I speak a word this morning blessing our youth and the youth of the world, knowing that they are guided by the loving mind and heart of spirit within themselves. I speak a word of love and comfort and healing for all those impacted by challenges, CNN prayer requests of whatever form, including Sophia and her family, Michael Mendez, Kathleen Hooper, Audra Jones, Deborah Roca, Ricardo Roca, Mary Prosperis, Kathleen Hooper, Harvey Fronglass, Dennis Johnson, and all of those impacted by COVID-19 and any other challenges. I speak a word of peace and comfort this morning for our beloved Reverend Jeff, his family, friends, and our entire Oakland Center for Spiritual Living community, knowing that we are all held in the loving arms of Spirit and all is well. I speak a word of thanksgiving for Reverend Sydney and the message that she shared with us today. We are so blessed, and I am grateful. And from this place of gratitude, I release this word, knowing it is already in the law and actively revealing itself. So from this place of thanksgiving, I say, Ashe, Amen. And so it is. Thank you, beloveds. And thank you, Reverend Sydney Lehman Steen. What a powerful message today.
Thank you.
And I invite you to look at the chats to see all that's been captured.
Thank you.
And so now I'd like us to transition into our time of conscious giving, giving from the heart, giving from the overflow that is God as us. So I believe we have an affirmation that we can share together. So as we think of our giving and our donation for the center, we say this affirmation: this gift I give is God in action. It does good work in the world and blesses creation. And so it is. And we can show you on the screen here how to make your donation in this virtual reality that we're living in. You navigate yourself to the website, www.oaklandcsl.org. And there's a donate button there. You click on that donate button. Or if you'd prefer to use your smartphone, you can text 510-327-3431 and let us know the amount that you'd like to give today. Thank you, everyone. And now I pass it over to practitioner Robin Rice Olmsted.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Reverend Sydney. Thank you to all the musicians. Thank you to everyone. Doesn't everybody agree? We throw a good party here on Sundays, right? That was amazing. So what I want you to know is that after service, practitioners will be available for prayer. I will be hosting the prayer room. So be gentle, be kind, be patient, but we will get you prayed up. And you just need to stay on when after the Zoom call's ending, and we'll get you taken care of. Practitioners are also available if you look on the website for mini sessions, complimentary mini sessions. Take advantage of that. We love to sit and know the light for you when you can't, and celebrate the light for you when you can. So it's a good opportunity to just get to know us and what we do. And of course, we're always available also for fully paid sessions. So if you want any of that, you can go to oaklandcsl.org on the website and find that information. And now for the closing affirmation. Everything in my life welcomes a realization of spirit. Yes. And now it's back to the magical man at the keyboard, Kev.
Giving thanks for a powerful service. All those who have participated with their energy, with their presence, with their words. Giving thanks, Reverend Sidney. We appreciate you for coming. All of the OCSL family. And as we sing in the tradition, knowing that we are blessed always as we continue from this day, from this moment, continuing to stay in that consciousness of blessings, gratefulness, love, pure divine consciousness, always reminding ourselves. We are blessed. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say amen. Say amen. Say give thanks. Amen. Blessed always.